1978 Triumph Spitfire. Okay, so we're going to be replacing the cable to the speedometer if the speedometer itself is not frozen up. Alright, so I was driving the other day and all of a sudden the speedometer goes crazy, and what happened is the speedometer broke. And what broke is this part right here. This is an angle that goes into the smog counter, and this cable froze, sheared this off. This is a new one, I replaced it. So now this is froze all the way up to the speedometer, so I got to pull the speedometer out, find out what the hell is going on. Alright, here we go. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is remove the steering wheel, remove all of the dashboard to get the speedometer out over the wheel. So first thing we got to do is this button. You'll notice the steering wheel is the same. This is for like a 77 and early 78. They changed them later on towards 79. But this is what the steering wheel is. I'd love to find another one. If anybody out there has one, let me know. So we start by taking this horn button off, and it exposes a real simplistic setup here. Now I've already loosened this up, this nut. What I did first was, if you can notice here, took a magic marker and I marked where my front alignment is, because when I put the wheel back on, I want to make sure it goes back onto those same spines, and I don't have to screw around with trying to get it centered, because that can really be a pain in the ass. Okay, so I already loosened this nut. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. Nope. Hang on. Okay, so we got the steering wheel off. Now the clamshell has to come off. And what happens here, if you can see, there's two holes right here, and these long screws with Phillips head. Got to take those out. Then the clamshell comes off. I don't know if you caught that. I can't believe how difficult it is to videotape all this stuff and try to get any work done. What a pain. Okay, so now we got all that out of the way. We can start taking the dashboard out. This has got to come out, all of this. Okay, so now the hard part is the little knobs here have got to come off in order for that whole plate to slip forward, and it requires the tiniest of tiny Allen wrenches that fit into the side here on each one of those. And of course that takes two hands, so once again we'll be right back. Okay, just wanted to show you what I was talking about on those knobs. And be careful, don't strip it out, because if you strip it out, man, don't strip it out. Final word. Okay, so here we go. The magic moment. Just lift this up, fold it down. And there you see everything that you got going on. I think I have a better one of these somewhere. Anyway, there you go. Now we got to get this panel out, but there's some nuts on the opposite side of it in order for it to come out. I already got the speedometer out, so I may have lied about this piece of dash coming out. I don't think you have to do that. It looks like with the steering wheel out of the way, it's a little bit easier to get to, so maybe you can bypass that. But I am replacing the gas gauge, so that's why I'm opening this up. Okay, so we got it out. This is it. And on the back side, you notice you've got all your oil lamp, your high beams, low beams, and the charging, the alternator. These are all idiot lights. This funny little piece here, what this is, let's see if we get down close, focus up here. This is your voltage regulator that regulates your instrument panel. All of your electric gauges, such as the temperature control, in this car it only has two, temperature control and gas gauge. This is what regulates those in order to work, and it puts out a constant 10 volts if memory serves me right, which rarely reaches 10 volts. It's usually around 9. But you can buy these online. This particular one, I forget where it came from. I don't think it's original, but it might well be. It may have come off of Amazon too. I don't remember. But anyway, they're easily available. I think I paid like 25 bucks for it, and so they're not expensive. But you got to have it, and it mounts directly to the back of your speedometer. That's what that is. By the way, if you're changing out these gauges, they're held on by this little bracket. You unscrew the thumb screw, take it out, and the gauge is loose. All you have to do is just take a picture of this, the wiring and the connections, and then disconnect and pull the gauge out. Also, I'm replacing this plastic piece because it's got a broken ear on it. Other than that, I don't know, maybe I should just fix that ear. It's not bad looking, you can read it. It's better than most, but I do have a spare I'm going to compare it to and see if it's better. If so, I'm going to replace this piece. Back in a flash. Okay, so here's where we're at. We got all of that out, and I went inside and found I had two more of these things. One's a little bit faded more than the other, but I think I can wash that up and it should look just fine. So now I got to pull that tachometer out of there. That should be easy. Back in a minute. Alright, so we got the old gauge out. It was so simple to get out, easy, quick. I mean, you guys can do this. I don't think there's anything terribly wrong. Maybe it needs to be calibrated. I'm not sure how to do it. Something, I'll have to research that, figure it out. But here is the new gauge, and we're going to put that in and see how that works whenever we go for a drive in a little bit. Stick with me. Okay, so for whatever reason I lost a bunch of the video files putting this back together, but actually, as you can see, it's just a reverse of what I've already shown you. Got the gauges in and knobs back on, and new speedometer and new tachometer. What I finally found out what happened was it wasn't the cable that froze, it was actually the speedometer. And fortunately, I had just had another speedometer rebuilt and had received that back from the rebuilders, so I was able to replace that without too much delay. I don't drive this car all the time because it's just it's a classic car and it's just not as reliable as my daily driver. I mean, it's reliable, but it does get a little hot during the summers here in Las Vegas. So pretty much got it all put back together, and this is not anything that you can't do. In fact, if you find yourself having to go through this process, one of the things I would consider doing, depending on what your dashboard looks like, is recutting all these wood pieces. You know, trace out the old ones and recut some new ones and stain them and put them in there and make it look real nice. Because that's what I did prior to putting the gauges in. I had already done that several months before, but that was quite a shock. I mean, the speedometer, I was just driving down the road, and all of a sudden it started bouncing like this, and then just dropped to the bottom and quit working, just out of the blue for no reason. So anyway, I want to remind you too that in some areas it's not legal to just go in and swap that out without any consideration for the Department of Motor Vehicles. Look up the rules, make sure that you file all your legal paperwork, and or contact the people that you need to contact and let them know what's going on, and record the mileage of your old speedometer and the mileage. A lot of us buy the used speedometers off of eBay or whatever, so you need to record that mileage and keep a record of it, so in the event that you're going to sell your car, you've got an accurate record of it. Here in Nevada, they're pretty lenient about how to go about doing that. The biggest thing that they want is to make sure that you've got a record of when it was changed, how much mileage was on the old one, how much mileage on the new one, and just fill out the paperwork. It's no big deal. And unfortunately, it's just on these old cars, it's something that you got to do. It's nothing that time and money won't fix. See you later.